Hello and welcome to Fantasy Premier League, the D-Unit's journey. I'm FPL D-Unit and I'm back for Game Week 16 early doors. It's been a very interesting game week, let's put it that way, and this is why you always need to be across it on FPL, because if you're not, you can get left behind. And look, there's been so much to happen, from the fact that the early kickoff first, Everton versus Liverpool, was pretty much delayed and ruled out because of Storm Darragh. Storm Darragh, fantastic stuff, because you've made it very easy now to pick my triple captain probably this year, because I do believe that game is going to be probably, there's a couple of different options. It could be game week 25, game week 24, but either way, Liverpool will be playing two relatively easy teams, which makes to triple captain on Moh Salah that week looking exceptionally tempting. So unfortunately, if you've already played it, then you're going to be missing out. But this is why you keep it, because there will be adverse weather effects over the winter months. And as we've just seen here, that is what has happened. So without any further ado, let's get into it. I'm up and about, early doors for game week 16. So Man City are still not out of their funk. Let's start there. Haaland finally scored. He got 8 points. A lot of people did captain him, but he wasn't even the best captain choice. In fact, he was far from it. And I'm glad that the Moh Salah didn't play, because it made it a little bit more wide open. I saw lots of people captaining different people this week. I saw Ollie Watkins getting captained. You would have been super pissed if that was the case. Starts on the bench, come on, got 1 point. Doubled the 2. That's very unfortunate. I saw other people captaining Saka. There was lots of weird stuff going on. So look, I don't know what's going to happen in the Manchester derby, and we'll get on to Man United's result against Nottingham Forest a little bit later on, and the god-awful defending that came back from Andre Onana. Don't know where that's been for the last 6 months, but it came back. It was like watching the 2023 version of Onana, and he was poor, and he's probably the sole reason why Man United lost that game. So frustrating. I actually thought Man United, from an attacking perspective, that game were actually playing quite well, but the defensive errors in that game were just something else to behold. So look, I'm not sure what to make of it all. I think that the Manchester derby could be very similar to what we watched between Tottenham and Chelsea on Sunday night. Yeah, not sure. So look, Everton versus Liverpool was postponed, so you've got to be making sure that you're across the news. If you're not, then you're in trouble. I saw so many people in our leagues sat there and still had Salah with the captain on their field. Thankfully, a lot of them had Cole Palmer vice captain, so like their own dumb decisions to not pay attention. And this was forecast all over the place. Like, I don't actually know why people still had Liverpool players in their team. Like, just put him on the bench. The dude's not going to be playing I get it, but you just got to be across these kind of things. And look, that's what the whole purpose of a deadline day stream is, right? And obviously I couldn't do one this week because I was out and about, and I'm out and about next week as well. But this is what you've got to be across. Like, you've got to be paying attention. FPL is one of them things that the active managers, the reason why we all end up in like the top, 200,000 at the end of the season, is because of the fact we're switched on. We're not missing these deadlines. We're paying attention to the news and making decisions. So if you're one of those people and you want to be up near the top, you probably need to start paying a bit more attention to things like this, because it is going to happen. It's over the winter season, and sometimes we do get things that mean that games get postponed. So you've really just got to be there. The good thing is that, as I said before at the very start, this has opened it up to a Moh Salah triple captain in a double game week, which is fantastic. If you've got that chip and you haven't played it, it's looking delicious. It's looking delicious because of the form that Salah's in. He's just had a nice little rest there as well, just before the busy Christmas period. He could be anything. He could absolutely be anything. So look, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Tottenham versus Chelsea delivered another 7-goal thriller. The poor defending in this game was something else. Cucurella, what was he doing? He must have been running around on a dry patch of grass or something before the game, because he's literally given up the first 2 goals because he just falls over and then just starts trying to blame other people. Like, dude, wear the correct footwear. It is cold. It is wet. You're going to be falling over if you haven't got the right studs in. Pretty simple. I wouldn't have thought it'd be that difficult, but apparently it is. Cole Palmer, though, how cold is that man? He's a sexy man. He's a very sexy man, especially when I was sitting there, because like when I saw that Salah was out, and I was like, oh, do I captain Saka or do I captain Palmer? And like, it was a real toss-up, because like he could have gone either way. And the difference this particular game week was 16 points. So I'm glad I got it right this time. Obviously, I got a little bit unlucky midweek where I captained Palmer and his XG numbers were really good, but he only got 1 goal. And obviously, I missed out on the Salah captain. But this week, it was much different. I got the Palmer captain right. 18 points doubled to 36. I've only had 3. We'll get into my team shortly. I've only had 3 players return this game week, and I'm on 66 points. It's mad. The difference between making a good captain choice and a bad one can be the difference between a really good rank or a poor rank. Now, I am sitting on 12,000 at the moment, but that is before the West Ham Wolves game, and I still only have Ait Nouri to come in that game. So, look, I'm not sure if I'm going to end up with a green arrow or if it's going to hover around the same. It depends on how many goals are in the West Ham Wolves game and if there's any clean sheets. So, look, and depends on who scores. So, a lot of people have Bowen, a lot of people have Cunha, a lot of people have Fabianski that are playing. I've got none of them. I've just got Ait Nouri. So, Ait Nouri scores and it's 1-0 Wolves. I'm probably looking at a good green arrow. But any other kind of result, depending on who scores, means that I probably could be just staying about the same as where I was. I don't think I'm going to blow past what my old rank was 35,000, unless there's like 3 goals to West Ham, 3 goals to Wolves, and Ait Nouri's not involved in any of them, and Bowen and Cunha score a double or something. That could definitely happen, but I'm hoping it doesn't. So, Arsenal corners, they're really good. And they scored again. Saliba scored again. That's 2 games in a row. Look, they just continue to score goals from me. I mean, the disappointing thing is that from an attacking sense, they didn't really offer much from what I could gather during the game. I obviously didn't watch it, but Fulham are a decent footballing side, and I think that's why I leaned away from the Saka captain before the deadline, because of the fact that Spurs just don't defend. So I just figured they'd concede goals, and I just hoped that Palmer and Jackson would be involved. Jackson, ironically, wasn't involved in any of the 4 goals, which was a little bit surprising, I thought. But Cole Palmer was definitely on show with 2 beautifully taken penalties. It's now 13 penalties for 13 for Cole Palmer. Insane how cold that man is when it comes to penalties. Probably the best penalty taker in the country, I'd say, at this point. So, yeah, Fulham were really good. Aston Villa were the only team, and I can't believe I'm saying this, because Aston Villa have been poor defensively for almost the whole season. They were the only team that kept the clean sheet. 1-0 against Southampton. Finally, someone keeps a clean sheet against Southampton as well, just an FYI, because I've been saying target their teams for so long. And this is the first time I can remember there being a clean sheet for a while against Southampton. So, look, if anyone actually had any Villa defenders, then they probably did pretty well for your team. But unfortunately, there was one of them games as well where Ollie Watkins didn't start. And everyone thought it was going to be Morgan Rogers that didn't start, but Morgan Rogers actually played 87 minutes, did nothing, got 2 points, so he might as well have had a rest. And Ollie Watkins came on for 1. So it was a really weird game from Villa, 1-0, but Southampton aren't as easy as they look, even though they are down the bottom. So what will Monday Night Football throw up? I'm not sure. My rank is obviously, as I said, it's about 12k. At the moment, we'll get into my team very shortly and we'll have a look. But we are going to start off with FPL Challenge. And this week it was the big spender week. Players over 9 million earn double points. And I can tell you that Cole Palmer here made me an absolute boatload of points. 72 points as captain. It was definitely the right pick. So look, I was pretty happy with that. As I said, the defenders, no one did anything in defence this week. It was other than the Aston Villa defenders, so it didn't really matter. Pretty much everyone else got 1. Or if you had William Saliba, who obviously scored as well, so that was interesting. Mbuemo and Fernandes, 9 points. I was pretty happy with that. After the Saturday games, I was laughing. I had 2 players for 17 points. Mbuemo and Fernandes and Isaac. One got 9, one got 8. That was really good. I thought I was on for a massive week. Then I fell asleep on Sunday because I was pretty damn tired, and I woke up and I saw all the 10 o'clock or 9 p.m. games, whatever they were. They'd all played and not one of my players had scored, so we'll get onto that shortly. But look, FPL Challenge looks pretty good. I'm not too dishappy with that. The players that did cost money, the only ones that did return were Haaland and De Bruyne, so yeah, make of it what you want. It wasn't a very big week for Haaland, but, it is what it is. So next week, really quickly, if we move to game week 16, it is bargains. So players costing under 6 million earn double points. So again, your budget here is 100 million. So yeah, I don't know what you do there. I think you just try and look for players that are under 6 mil. is probably the best bet, and looking for good fixtures. So, yeah, no big players this week. I think it's better. There'll be a lot of cheap options that do really well. But if you really want me to sit there and do a team really quickly, let's have a look what I can come up with. So goalkeepers, who's got a nice fixture this week? David Raya at home to Everton looks pretty damn good. I think he's probably the pick there. He's under 6 mil, so he's going to earn you double points. In terms of defenders, under 6 mil, Saliba's now over 6. Pedro Porro, oh mate, I'd bet you Southampton score against Tottenham. I wouldn't be surprised if Southampton won that game. Kirkes, West Ham United home, that looks pretty good. Julian Timber, yep, he looks pretty good. And third defender, Andy Robertson, Fulham at home. I don't mind that. He's under 6 mil, so he's going to earn double points. All right, into the midfield as we go. I think Cole Palmer's just got to be in the team regardless. And Iwobi, Liverpool away, no, don't like that. Johnson's over 6. Madueke's over 6. Clivert, Bournemouth, potentially could be an option. Not sure. Rogers against Nottingham Forest, also an option. Under 6 mil, it's actually quite hard. Semenyo, yeah, get him in. Enzo, yep. He's just continues to deliver. I think one more people have to talk about Enzo Fernandes. He's been really good of late. And I think he'll just keep on going there. And we've got one more. We've just got to put in Salah, man. The dude's in that much form. And you've got a fairly decent budget. You've still got 43.4 mil. Forwards, under 6 mil, remember, is what we're after. Man United at home. I mean, Haaland probably score a hat-trick there, to be fair. Who else have we got here? Cunha, under 6 mil. Welbeck, did he play? I feel like he did, but I don't think he did anything. Jamie Vardy against Newcastle. I actually don't mind that pick, Strand Larson against Ipswich at home. Could be worth a shout. Liam Delap against Wolves. That could also be worth a shout. João Pedro, Crystal Palace at home. Yeah, that looks pretty good on paper. You know what? Stuff it. Let's just go someone big to finish off, eh? I reckon Haaland against Man United will actually be pretty good. But I think we'll go with Cole Palmer, captain, He was really good the last game week. So we'll save that. That's what I'm going to go with. If you're doing FPL Challenge, I reckon that's the team to go with this week. So look, Ray on goal, Kirkes, Timber, Robertson, all these players under 6 mil, so hopefully make me double points. And then the only ones I'm going with over 6 mil are Haaland, Palmer, and Salah, the big three. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, and we'll go from there. I mean, like Everton at home, probably should have put Saka in. I'm not sure, but we'll leave it at that for now. We'll have a look at it later in the week. All right, so my points for this week. That's game week 14. I'm not sure why it's sitting on game week 14. It's still sitting on game week 14. There we go, game week 15. I'm on 66 points for the week. As I said, the thing that's made me this game week was the Cole Palmer captain, Bruno Fernandes returning and getting 2 bonus points, and Isaac also scoring and getting 2 bonus points. So, look, the rest of it, I mean, I've done pretty well in fairness. The defenders I did pick only conceded 1 goal outside of Verbruggen. So, like, in my mind, I'm hoping that Fabianski concedes a few goals to Wolves tonight, because I did toss up and I thought that Verbruggen would do better than what he did. And look, for 80-odd minutes, Brighton were 2-0 up. And then all of a sudden they just capitulated at the end, went from 2-0 to 2-2. That was disappointing. I mean, Brighton defence, it's just not very good. So I'm glad I got rid of the double up in their defence. But I don't know, Matoma's done nothing in the space I've had him now, and that's 2 weeks. Just his numbers over the last 2 weeks haven't been the best, like 0.32 expected goal involvement against Leicester. Just expected a bit more. I mean, I think I've just got to hold the faith, though, because Crystal Palace at home, West Ham away, Brentford at home. They are 3 pretty damn good fixtures for Brighton over the next 3 weeks, and I think that's something to keep in mind. Now, he is in the firing line. Bruno Fernandes is also sitting there, so if I look at my team and what I want to do with it for the foreseeable future, I'm pretty happy with the majority of it. Isaac looked like he's going to be a really good pick. He probably should have got more than he did against Brentford as well. Like 0.53 expected assists, 0.49 expected goals. Obviously only got the 1 goal, so some people being a bit wasteful there in that thing. But They've got Leicester at home up next, and I'm expecting him to continue there. And then Ipswich away. Like, the next 2 weeks are delicious for Isaac. So I'm expecting big points there from him. João Pedro, again, was a little bit disappointing. 0.25 expected goals against Leicester. I thought we'd get more out of him. Only played the 70 minutes, but hopefully he's moving back towards fitness and he gets closer to playing those 90 minutes, and then we should be right. But I like him. Next 3 fixtures, as I said, for Brighton do look really good. Now, Cole Palmer, he's been fantastic. Saka's been disappointing the last 2 weeks. Just his goal threat in general. Like, if he's not getting them assists, he's not getting the points. But you expect the next 3 fixtures to just look really good from an Arsenal attacking perspective, and I expect him to get some points over the next 3 weeks for sure. Up to 42.6% ownership now, so if you haven't got him already, I think you are missing the boat, and I think that's something you definitely have to look at moving forward. But yeah, look, Saka does look really good. Kirkers was so unlucky. He had the assist of the assist on the first goal. And 0.12 expected assists again in this game. Like, his positioning on the field is really good. And look, unfortunately, they just conceded that 1 goal to Ipswich, which was disappointing. But yeah, I mean, it's not the worst. And look, Bournemouth's defensive numbers aren't overly poor. Like, they're not the worst defense in the world. So I'm hoping that against West Ham, they might be able to shut them out. Well, they've got 3 game weeks over the next 5 where I'm really tempted to play Kirkes, and I think he'll be a good start. So look, his ownership is starting to go up. People are starting to notice him. So he's up to 4.7% ownership. And yeah, he's a good player. I don't mind him. So look, Ait Nouri, I'm hoping he can return. I mean, if both these managers are on hiding to nothing, I think if either of these managers lose this game on Monday night, they're gone. I think they'll be gone by the end of the week. I mean, they could both be gone regardless. If it's a draw, I think they both get sacked. I'm actually not sure. But look, Ait Nouri is fast becoming a problem. 3 weeks' time, the fixtures run out. And so, like, in my mind, do I just hold my transfers until game week 18, see what happens, see if he has a return over the next 3 weeks, he's probably going to go up to 5 mil. And then I'd be able to sell him for 4.7, which would make my selling options a little bit better. Lenny Yoro also started for Man United. I did flag this earlier, and Ait Nouri could well become Lenny Yoro once Lenny Yoro becomes fit enough to play 90 minutes every week. That's a player I'm definitely looking at. And Enzo Fernandes is definitely someone we have to talk about. I will pull him up shortly, but yeah, like the results this week were unbelievably mad. So if we have a quick look, Aston Villa obviously with that 1-0 win. The bonus points there obviously went to Darragh, who got the goal and the start. So Morgan Rogers obviously got the yellow card as well, which is why he got 2 points. So that was very disappointing for his owners. But yeah, Konza got two bonus points from the defence. Like, it was just one of them weird 1-0 type of games, really. Newcastle Brentford lived up to the hype. As I said, anything can happen at the G-Tech, and Brian Mbuemo replayed the faith for the people that kept him. Now, not many people kept him, and his ownership has definitely dropped off the boil. He's down to 29.2%. He was up over 40-odd%, like, not that long ago. He's down to 7.6 mil. I don't think that's going to change. Look, they did play very well against Newcastle. 0.4 expected goal involvement. He definitely made the most of it for his 13 points, but that was a very nice for players that wanted it. I just don't really like the fixtures coming up for Brentford. So until like game week 25, I'm not really too keen on Brian Mbuemo again. But from then, he could be an option to bring back in. But look, he was really good. And Isaac, as I've talked about before, he was really good as well. Jacob Murphy, who I had at the very start of the season, finally getting involved here with 2 assists for Newcastle. So that was really well done by him. The bonus points, obviously, Wissa was here really good as well. And I did like Wissa. So a few people asked me about Wissa this week, and I said play him over some of the other options that got thrown up. Turned out it was a good shout. And Flecken obviously got an assist there from the goals. So not sure what happened there. A real pun upfield, but sometimes these things can happen once or twice a season. Man City against Crystal Palace. This was an interesting game. Rico Lewis got a goal, which was great for his owners, but then got himself sent off, which is not ideal at all. So he's going to miss. He's going to be suspended now for a little bit. Maybe that makes selling him a little bit easier for his owners. I'm not sure, but at least you got your 4 points, which was better than most defenders this week. So you can't really complain, I think, if you still have him. It's just one of those things you gotta roll with. Yeah, pretty much. Heartland obviously scored and he got 1 bonus point, but in reality, that's not really enough for 15 mil. I think he's still a definite sell. Look, his ownership's down to 42.9% now. So, like, yeah, it's weird. Almost only 4 in 10 people have him now. And his effective ownership has dropped, I think, below 10%. Like, so a lot of people have just haven't touched their team since the start of the year and started with him. But of active players playing, he's only about under 10% of the active players still have him in their team. It's just not good enough. I mean, at least he scored, which is a positive, but Man City just aren't out of that funk. Kevin De Bruyne was pretty much largely anonymous in this game as well. I don't know what to say about that. This game was just ridiculous. Bruno Fernandes, Højlund with the goals, Gibbs White, Wood, Milinkovic. Like, Chris Wood scores? Are you kidding me? Like, how? How does he score again? But look, he's actually been not too bad. I mean, he should have scored against Man City as well, and we would not be talking about the demise of the Woody Woodpecker. But Woody Woodpecker kept on doing Woody Woodpecker things. And look, he got another 2 bonus points. He's got another 8 points. He just continues to tick along. I'm actually not sure if he's like the highest ranked forward in the game now. I'll have a look in a second, but 5.9 points per match is pretty damn good for what you paid for him at the start of the season. And he is looking like a good long-term hold. We'll have a look at his. Actually, we'll have a look now. So he's got 3 fixtures to come. Villa at home, Brentford away, Spurs at home. But then the fixtures will open back up for Chris, the Woody Woodpecker. Maybe if you've held him for this long, you just keep holding him. I mean, like, the City game obviously wasn't very good. He played Man United. But the next 3, potentially he scores with the defences that these teams present with. There's no reason to think that he might not. Just keep that in mind. He could be a good, decent enough hold. Arsenal against Fulham, as I said, that was just an, interesting game. Leno made 3 saves, but just not good enough from Arsenal. If you're going to win the league, you've got to be winning games like that. Bournemouth against Ipswich, again, this was one of them weird games where, people just didn't keep clean sheets. Chaplin scored for Ipswich. Who was that? And then Unai and Dongo scored for Bournemouth. Like, who the hell are these players? No one owns them. So look, there was not many points to be had in that particular game. Mukic and Azarbala scored a bonus point each, so at least that was something. This Brighton game was so disappointing. For Bruggen with 1 save, man. Hermanson made 5. Like, this game could have been so much easier for Brighton. But in the end, they drop a point. Very disappointing. Jamie Vardy with a 3 bonus, a goal and an assist. He was been brilliant. And Decordova Reid with a goal and an assist as well. Shout out to him. Leicester definitely turning it on there for Ruud van Nistelrooy. Glad to see them getting some results for him because he is a great man. He's a good-looking man. So, yeah. And then obviously the humdinger of the weekend, Chelsea against Spurs. This game had goals galore. Solanke, Kulusevski, Son, goals. Johnson, Maddison, Pedro Porro assists. But they conceded 4 goals, so it sort of ruled out the Pedro Porro returns in this game. Palmer with 2 goals, Enzo, Sancho with a goal, Casado, Cucurella, and Palmer with assists. And yeah, Palmer was just amazing. 3 bonus points there. So look, when I'm looking ahead to what I want to do, there's a few different things. So in my mind, I actually think that keeping Bruno Fernandes is a viable long-term option. So look, he's down to 15.4% ownership, but like after this Man City game, it's a nice little run of fixtures. Bournemouth home, Wolves away, Newcastle home before the Liverpool game in 20. I think you just told him. You roll him through the Man City game, hope for the best, and you go from there. I think he's definitely someone that's definitely worth holding at this particular point in time, and I think he's going to be really good value as a little bit of a differential moving forward. Either that or I sell him for like a low price person, but at the moment, I'm thinking Matoma's actually made me 0.1 mil. So I bought him at 6.4. He's up to 6.6. Now, the next 3 weeks aren't too bad, but I really do want an avenue into the Liverpool defence, particularly with their good run of fixtures coming up. So have a look at Moh Salah here. When we have a look at their fixtures coming up, after the Spurs game in 17, I really want a Liverpool defender from 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, all the way through to Man City's games. I really want to cover the Liverpool defence. So the way I'm going to do that is Ait Nouri here, unfortunately, is going to be the one that makes way. He's got the worst run of fixtures after 3 weeks' time. So Ait Nouri is going to become a Liverpool defender. It's just a matter of Verbruggen's going to become a Liverpool goalkeeper. So I'm kind of waiting to see when Alisson's going to be fit, because the move could be I get rid of Ait Nouri and Verbruggen in a transfer thing. Ait Nouri becomes maybe a Lenny Yoro. Verbruggen comes like an Allison, and a Matoma might become... I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure who Matoma's going to come. There are a few different options. I could go to a Wobie, who looks really good from 3 weeks onwards. And so those 3 moves would allow me to get Allison in goal and like cover the Liverpool defence that way. And it's the cheapest way of getting into the Liverpool defence and knowing that they're going to start 90 minutes, provided Allison obviously stays fit. Even then, it'd be an even easier substitute. Sorry, even easier play, because then I'd just get Kelleher in goal and I'd be laughing. I wouldn't even have to do any of these other moves to facilitate it. Obviously, I've got 0.1 million in the bank, but those are definitely the moves I'm looking at moving forward, because I think that the rest of my team I'm actually pretty damn happy with. I've got really no concerns across the rest, and I don't think I need to double up on the Arsenal defence. They've shown again on the weekend that doubling up on them, yes, one of their defenders might score, but then the rest are blanking because they concede 1 goal. I just don't think it's worth... I don't think it's worth having a double up on any defence, is my honest answer. We saw on the weekend there's been 1 clean sheet. 1 clean sheet? Why would you bother spending up for that 1 clean sheet chance every weekend? Let me know in the comments if I'm barking up the wrong tree, but I don't think I am. Iwobi definitely stands out to me. I think I really love him moving forward. Like, he does look super good. After that Liverpool game, 17 onwards, I might bring him in for 17. So it might be a wait and see this week, and then against Southampton, I might bring him in. But look, I've got 2 transfers this week. I don't think at this present point in time, unless there's some forecast price rises or price drops, I'm probably not going to move this week. I'm probably just going to let it roll through to game week 17. But that's just my personal thinking at the moment. So look down here. Chris Wood has almost caught Erling Haaland. He's 10 points off him. He's literally... it's insane how good Chris Woodpecker has been. So good. Nicholas Jackson, probably disappointed considering he had a rest midweek. Isaac starting to find the form as well. He's rising up those charts in the bottom part of the table there. Valenson obviously was disappointing for Bournemouth this week. Lots of people gone there. Raul Jimenez reminded everyone that he can actually score a goal, which is fantastic. Look at all these Spurs players in the top midfielder section here. Brian Mbuemo almost up to 100 points now after that 13-point haul. Mad. I mean, if I hadn't made that transfer for Jurriën Timber, I'm actually no points worse off. I don't think. No, actually I am worse points off because Van Heck's been rubbish. So yeah, look, there's definitely something to keep in mind. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but as I said, Matoma's probably the player that I am looking at moving out, because if you're not performing at 6.5, I might as well drop you down to a real budget midfield option and then just rotate that person with João Pedro whenever I need to. So yeah, that's my plan moving forward. Salah's obviously going to come in, and I'm looking pretty good this weekend. But yeah, that's my early thoughts ahead of game week 16. Let me know how you're going. At the moment, as I said, really briefly, I am up to, well, where are we? Let's go 2 points. I'm up to 12,631, but that is prior to the Wolves-West Ham game. So I'm expecting that to go closer back out towards 35 where I started. But depending on who scores and what kind of points are scored in that game, it might actually be a pretty good turnout for me. So look, that is something to keep in mind. I am up to 992 points overall, top 12.6k at the moment, led largely by 3 players. Cole Palmer, captain, was fantastic. Bruno Fernandes and Isaac definitely turning up for my team. Ait Nouri, hopefully he can deliver tonight with a clean sheet. That would be lovely, because then that means that Fabianski hopefully isn't keeping a clean sheet as well. I mean, an Ait Nouri goal and clean sheet tonight would be absolutely massive for my score. It would take me close to 80 points. I'm not really expecting that, but look, if you've got to be wishful thinking here, this is FPL after all. All right, hopefully you've enjoyed that. If you made it through to the end of the video, please smash the subscribe button, like the video as well, and, get on board. WhatsApp groups there as well if you want to get involved and talk a bunch of FPL during the weekend. It is updated, it is spammed, but it is brilliant, and it's a nice way of just feeling involved in a community. All right, that's been the D Unit. That's been the early thoughts. I'll see you back tomorrow for the differential video.